This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Acorn Marketing by Design. Let Acorn Marketing by Design help guide you for online success. Whether it's a monthly newsletter or weekly blog post or daily social media post, Acorn Marketing by Design is your one-stop solution to great branding and online engagement. Call us today for a free consultation to talk about how we can refresh your brand and engage your customers. The Bill and Kelly Show is recorded at Studio A at Executive Suite Squared in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. Now, here's Bill and Kelly. Hello, welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show. With us today, we have a returning guest, Bev Davis, who is an author and a public speaker. She's written several children's books. One of note, Great Gray. Great Gray Meets New Friends, two of them, and Winging It, just three books that she has gotten to her collection. So welcome to our show again, Bev.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Bill.
Oh, we're delighted. And Kelly is just heartbroken she can't be here. You're one of her favorite guests, and it's mine too. I mean, you're just, man, we just take great pleasure in talking to you. So Bev is here to talk to us a bit about what has brought her to become an author. And it really is to talk to children about self-esteem, building up the wherewithal to deal with passive-aggressive behavior and just bullying, outright bullying. And so she has some history with that herself, and that's what started her on this campaign. So Bev, take it away. Tell us a bit about you, how you started this venture and your past experience.
Well, as a child growing up on the south side of Chicago, back in the 50s, I was bullied. There were a few particular bullies in my life, but they were constant and they never let up. And I didn't have the support that I needed elsewhere. So they made a big impression on my life. And because of that, I never spoke in public. I just kept very quiet. In fact, I call myself the observer of life because I never spoke in a public setting. And the fact that I felt called at this part of my life to go into ministry and to attend seminary is very, very strange to me. But it's been a much growing experience.
But just the fact that you were able to get beyond that just horrid experience and now become a public speaker and an author to share all this with folks is just absolutely beautiful and amazing.
Thank you. And it's been a journey that started with a dream. I had graduated from McCormick Theological Seminary in 2007. And then I moved to Wausau, Wisconsin to get a chaplain residency at the hospital up there. And until then, I was like, what am I going to say to these people? You know, how am I going to listen? And one night I had a dream, and it was this dream that became the book, Great Gray. Great Gray, a book about exceeding no expectations.
Yeah, well,
many of us have no expectations for our lives. In this book about a little elephant who happens to be born with one little funny ear, which is adorable. He's bullied, he's treated so poorly even by his own mother and father, who were so excited that he was going to be born. but they took a look at him and went, no, this isn't our kid. He's not good enough. And he didn't take that as, he didn't become depressed. He didn't become recluse, but he just kept quiet. And then he kept just doing things and just living and doing things. And which is kind of what I've done. There were no great expectations for my life. And I think that's the way with a lot of people, particularly women. Yeah, so writing the book, first I wrote down the dream and somebody said, this is something, you've got to pay attention to it. And I was like, well, nobody's going to pay attention to it. Nobody, well, I kept going back to it and back to it and back to it. And finally, somebody said, you need to get this published. And I did. And thanks to my husband and his encouragement and friends and family, I got the first book published. And it's great. Like I said, there he is. And then from that one, there was another one and then a third one. They're all about acceptance, building self-esteem, inclusiveness, and there's a lot, they're all placed in India. And so there's a lot of Indian culture, and every name has a reason, it has an identity, like the mama, his name is Saguna, which means virtuous. And the papa is Prabir, which means brave one. So they all have a reason. And that's how it began.
Now, I know this started with a dream that you're having, but what was it that, that you saw the elephant in your dream, or was there a particular reason why you chose the Indian culture?
It was all in my dream.
It was all in your dream.
Yeah, I don't know why it's in India, except that I have a very close friend who was also my pastor when I attended a Quaker meeting several years ago. He's still my friend, and I still consider him my pastor. And he was bullied as the pastor of a Quaker meeting. And I think that just got into my heart too. I mean, why would you bully somebody who's so special and loving? And
right.
So I think PV, was in there for a reason. And then the elephant was in there for a reason too. When I was a little girl, my brother, who was quite a bit older than me, called me elephant. And even though I wasn't super an elephant, it sucked into my heart. And so that was part of the dream. I mean, it's crazy. These things don't come to you, but they're there. And that's what holds you back. So until you get those to the top and you can deal with them slowly but surely, I still have, I'm not going to say I'm totally healed, but it helps me relate to people that I'm going to be meeting as a chaplain and people that I meet in the street. I mean, my goodness, they're everywhere.
Right.
And especially at a time like this, we're very confused. We don't know, we don't know what's going to happen.
No, I mean, it's, what we're going through now is just a big bullying phase. It's, oh my gosh, I think I've never in my 60 years have seen society more at odds with each other than now, particularly in the United States. So I just don't know what to think about it, but yeah, and the thing that to me has always been interesting, and because I've known people to be severely bullied, and in fact, I was a victim both not very often as a child because I didn't take much gruff back then. My sisters were big bullies, though. Yeah. Yeah, my sisters bullied me mercilessly. But even an adult, and it happened at a time when I was told not to do anything about it, which caused even greater harm. But yeah, it's. But the thing I'm getting to, it is a shame because there's a part of you that you want to share, but you don't feel comfortable because you're worried about what people are going to say, what impression they're going to have of you. And that's just wrong. That is just absolutely wrong. And again, the shame behind this is it comes from someone who has also suffered some type of bullying or some type of catastrophic event to cause themselves to be questioned, their own self-esteem. And that it's kind of like a vicious circle that goes around and around. And until they get help, they'll keep doing what they are doing. And, it's like right now, I gosh, when we talk about society, I'm worried. There's just people out there that I think do truly need help, and they don't want to get it because now what is scary about this, and what I want to ask you about is, do you get the sense that until we get out of this is almost becoming the new norm, that we attack each other, and you can't even express an opinion without someone viciously attacking you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really has become the new norm, and it's not a norm I want to live in.
No, because I
take a lot of devotion on our side to try to keep it in, to get things back. I mean, I never believed there was ever a normal because nobody was ever, what's normal, but just to be accepted, respect.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have something that I could read to you just real quick.
Oh, please do.
This is from somebody who I love very much. Sometimes my friend says about losing respect versus having no respect really stuck with me. I know this likely isn't new information for anyone, but I think it bears repeating. Losing respect has become a common occurrence in the last years on both sides of the fence. I know it has happened to me on many occasions when I've discovered that someone I not only respected but cherished supports and campaigns to ensure that I should not be treated as an American citizen with equal rights, but that discrimination against me should be legalized and encouraged because their personal religious beliefs should not govern secular laws of our country, but also to take precedent over religious beliefs. And for what? It has literally no effect on their own relationship with God or their absolution. It is all about maintaining control and a sense of moral superiority. I can still respect other aspects of an individual who engages in that, but it wouldn't make sense for me to not lose at least some of the respect I had for them before I knew this about them. This is my son.
Your son?
My son wrote that last night.
That was absolutely wonderful. That was very thoughtful as well. It's very thought-provoking.
My son is gay.
We share something.
Yeah.
Just
think about what he thinks about every day.
Mm-hmm.
Goes out on the street.
It's interesting you say that, as my son is as well. And, he hid the fact for years, particularly middle school, and finally came out in high school. And the crying shame, and, and again, part of the reason why he hesitated in coming out and put upon this big masquerade of being an athlete and trying to do all the manly things is because he was afraid of me, what I was going to think. And when he came out, it was just the opposite. I was brought to tears by hearing some of the stories that he said, the bullying and really a culture that was set up at the school that promoted it. You didn't try to de-escalate it, promoted it. When I asked him, why didn't you tell me about this? And I worked for the school at the time. He says, because I would know what you would do. And I got to say, he's right. Yeah. My alter ego, Joey Cannoli, would have come out. He's Chicago monster from the 30s. Yeah, we didn't put up much grub. So, but no, it's yeah, all kidding aside, it just I still cry to this day. I look at his pictures from that time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what a horrible life did he lead at that time? But he did a great job. In fact, he was loved on these for the most part. He was absolutely loved. He was in band in high school. He was president of the band association. He just goes on and on. And but there's just below that surface, there is a level of hurt that so we share something. We do.
My son was a singer. He sang before he could talk, and he was always the entertainer at every party and at school, and he never changed. He's always been who he is.
Yeah.
These people change how they look at him, and those people don't know what they're missing. And yeah. And that's the same thing about Great Gray, and any person who's bullied or is treated poorly because of something that is not acceptable to the other person. Doesn't even have to be anything wrong that there's wrong, but anything different. I mean, I look at myself and I still can't see why. Maybe it was because my father was deceased. I mean, I don't know, but it certainly has made me a stronger person. And I feel at this time in my life that this is my ministry, unofficial ministry. And I'm always looking for places now where I can speak, which is totally opposite of anything else. I was always hiding in the background, here, let me out there. In fact, I'm participating in a workshop on, I think it's the 17th of October on Saturday. It's the anti-bullying conference by the anti-bullying organization in Chicago. That's why I wear my little blue. It's called Bullying Prevention 365. This will be their 4th conference, and the first one I spoke at, and I can't believe I did that. I mean, till the minute I spoke, I was ready to run out of the room.
Yeah.
And now 4 years later, I'm much more, still a little ready to leave the room, but I'm glad I stay. And I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, we're glad that you do. And boy, the gifts that you bring is just phenomenal. The books, and Kelly and I have read through some of them, and it's just there are books that I'm very, very happy to give my kids. And
thank you.
And so gosh, so let's get into it, because you have another book that kind of takes a different angle, Winging It. Oh, you got them right there.
I happen to have it handy.
Yeah. I will say, though, unlike some other media that you may be on, we have the ability to interject graphics into the video. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. You can still hold them up, but just want to let you know when you see the video.
Thank you.
No problem. But so Winging It takes a different approach. You want to talk to us about that?
Well, Winging It is a love story to not only to monarch butterflies, which are endangered, and it's a love story between a grandmother and her granddaughter, and what a wonderful relationship they have or had. The grandmother has now passed away, but the granddaughter is now 21 and still helps the old monarch butterflies fledge every summer. She's taught her little sister, who's now 5, the same age that Maya was when this happened years ago. And yeah, I mean, it's just a story it's a simple story, and we're all winging it, we never know what's coming next. Eileen went to her front door and found, Eileen is the grandma, went to the door and found a mason jar, and it had a monarch chrysalis in it, and really didn't know what to do. But she and Maya just watched it for days, and there comes the beautiful monarch butterfly. So it's being patient, being kind. You know, if it doesn't work out, we try again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I actually, since I talked to you last, I received 2 awards.
Oh, wow.
That's this one to show you, because I just sent you the stickers. I have got an award from Purple Dragonfly. It was a winner in the children's ecological department.
Amazing.
And then the Pinnacle Book Achievement Award for Children's Interest. This is first prize.
Well, congratulations.
So, yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. So the ecological aspect and just the whole thing about winging it, it's such a metaphor for life in general. And from a start to blossoming to this beautiful thing, and really that is to be tied into this whole discussion about anti-bullying, because what are we inhibiting? What beauty are we preventing from blossoming? Mm-hmm. It's like had you not developed the self-esteem to say, you know what, I can talk in front of a group without having to worry. And, I can share my dreams through my books and through a vision that I have for what life should be like, and teaching people how to live a life of, wonder. Because that's something I think, people that have been bullying, include myself, is that you just have to get out of that conundrum. And that's not an easy thing to do, as you know. It's speaking in public is probably the largest fear, because back in your mind, the paranoia sets in. What are people thinking? Is someone going to get up and say that, and then add social media in, which is like a big megaphone for bullying, it seems.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, boy. So, I mean, what is out there for you? I mean, have you got any speaking engagements? You mentioned your awards. Are you speaking anywhere, either online or anywhere, being the pandemic is still going?
Yeah.
Especially up in Wisconsin, boy, howdy, hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just did a Zoom presentation on for the Rotary Club in Sun Prairie, which is a suburb of Madison.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few of those in different town, different Rotaries, and then the bullying prevention project a week from this Saturday. That's going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
I actually put together, I've never done one, a PowerPoint with photos, and so I'm going to use that for that event. And then I think I can use it at other times too. So I just need opportunities, and it's hard to promote yourself when you were bullied all your life.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready to roll, and any place that will have me, I'm there. I've got a few places already lined up for New Year. Wisconsin Education teachers and librarians, they used to have a real meeting at the Kalahari, but this will be virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few other ones that will be coming, but I'm always ready.
Yeah, please send us those, because I'm always looking for content for our morning.
Okay.
And I'll be more than happy, because we do have listeners and viewers up in that Madison, Milwaukee area.
Okay.
As long as I don't talk about the Green Bay Packers, it's fine.
Another thing I've become, there's an organization called Talk a Book, and it hasn't been launched yet, but they're actually, it started before this pandemic was already starting, and you make a reservation with an author. We've all been vetted. We all are members of the Society of Children's Authors and Illustrators, and they're making appointments with the authors to do a reading, a birthday party, an event, a school event. It hasn't been totally launched yet, but I could connect you with them, because I think you'd find it interesting.
That'd be great.
I'll talk a book.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
we'll talk after the show, but I do have some ideas I want to share with you with that regard. So,
okay.
But that sounds interesting. So is this all done virtually then, I assume?
Yeah, everything's virtual. It's actually, yeah.
taking use of the Zoom machine, as they call it.
Yeah, the Zoom machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm still leading worship on Sundays in a little church in Mineral Point on Zoom.
I think we talked the last time about a Saturday Night Live skit about service. I don't know if you had a chance to see that, but
I saw it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was great, wasn't it? Would you please mute? Oh boy.
With my church, not enough people talk in the first place.
So it's neat. Have you been reading online then to children?
Yeah, to some library groups. Not any schools yet this year, but I'm looking for places. And if anybody has any ideas, I'm very anxious and encouraged to do as much as I can, particularly this month. But every month should be anti-bullying month, but particularly October is anti-bullying month. And
let me I do have, as we talking, I'm getting a ton of ideas here, which we'll share offline here. But there's with all these in Indiana, it's a state statute that you have to incorporate into your curriculum anti-bullying information. So there could be a lot to help there, contacting some schools. So boy, this is great. And it's always helpful to talk about these situations, and because in a way it makes you kind of take a different views at it as you begin talking about it and begin to visualize the problem and what it causes and so on. So it's kind of like a therapy session. So we had a therapy session this morning. So it's great.
It follows you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you about another dream I had shortly after the Great Gray Dream. Wasn't a dream, but I woke up in the middle of the night, and the name of my major bully from grammar school and high school came into my head, and I hadn't thought about him for 50 years. I went to the laptop in the dining room, and I looked up his name, and he had passed away 3 months before I woke up and his name came to me. And I still was allowing him to run my life, and that was me allowing him at that point. But he had passed away, and I didn't know how to feel. But I felt sad, and I felt free. And from that time I was like, how can I let something like this run my life when he has never thought of me or has never, and now he's gone. So that was a very freeing moment.
Yeah, and it's interesting you brought that up. I've had a discussion with someone else that exact thing happened to. The person that was attacking them and outside a child, he went as an adult, but he had passed. And although this person had kind of the opposite effect, they wanted to confront with him because they finally, through therapy and building their own self-esteem back up, and they wanted to prove to him that they didn't have, by golly, he didn't have an effect on their life. And he passed away. And part of that is that there was relief, although they were at such a platform, they didn't think that this person could even affect them. But it's not a matter of getting even, but to show, look what I've done with my life. You have had no effect on it. And I'm successful. I'm a successful teacher. And, you know, and eventually this person became an elected official. And, you know, but that this person felt like that was taken away from them. And so, but that's a different way of looking at it. And each instance of that, I imagine, because there's such a granular effect that it can have a different effect on different people. So, oh man, boy, this has been a great conversation, amazing conversation. I appreciate you coming back on. Yeah, and please stay on, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. And this will be out today. Can't wait for it to get out. Okay. And with that, is there anything else you want to share with us before we wrap up the show?
Well, people are interested in purchasing the books. You can go to my website, bevdavisauthor.com. And they can also be ordered through Amazon and any independent bookstore.
Yes, and some of the titles are Great Gray, and that was your first book, right? Great Gray?
Great Gray.
And then the Great Gray Meets New Friends.
Right.
And Mastase, am I pronouncing it?
Namaste.
Yeah, Great Gray.
Sorry.
And then finally, the latest one is Winging It, right? The one about them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's neat.
The first three are under Beverly Davis. They're hard to find on if you go with Bev, because that's what I prefer to go with. Winging It is Bev. So if you can't find it under Bev, you'll find it under Beverly Davis.
Right.
I wish I could change that.
We'll put your website up on the video.
Yeah, I can find it there. And then I can sign it and what have you.
Yeah. Yeah, so if they purchase it from you on your website, you can
Correct.
It, right?
Correct.
If they go to Amazon, then of course you deal with the Amazon machine.
Amazon, right.
So this has been absolutely wonderful. It's always a pleasure having you on our show. And yeah, Kelly she's in the next room, I'm sure, thinking, I'd rather be over there talking to Bev.
Hi, Kelly.
I'll pass it along, and I'm sure she'll watch this because she was so. It's one of those things where timing just didn't work out. She thought she was going to be able to be here, but then they're on a different time zone, and she found out, oh no, shoot, oh well. Well, listen, Bev, I tell you what, it has always been a pleasure, and boy, we can't wait to have you back on the show again. And this time, I'll make sure Kelly's here. So. All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap things up. And Bev, please have a beautiful day, beautiful rest of the week. I don't know what weather is like up there, but it's beautiful.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yes, enjoy. Get out there and enjoy it.
We'll do.
We'll say goodbye for now.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Acorn Marketing by Design. Let Acorn Marketing by Design help guide you for online success. Whether it's a monthly newsletter or weekly blog post or daily social media post, Acorn Marketing by Design is your one-stop solution to great branding and online engagement. Call us today for a free consultation to talk about how we can refresh your brand and engage your customers.